Are you aware that relationship is the mother of all social systems, and that healthy, productive relationships just doesn't happen? You have to invest in relationships. You have to commit to relationships. You must understand the daily rituals of the relationships. You must nurture a culture and a tradition that influences the desired outcome in any relationship. I want to say this to you. Healthy relationships are only built on culture and tradition. But what is culture and what is tradition? Culture and tradition is what gives us consistency, stability, depth, and an identity. And I want you to ask yourself this question. You're a manager, you're a business owner, you're a leader. But what are you doing to develop your daily ritual? What are you doing to ensure that those rituals and those cultures becomes a product that your team are fully acclimatized to? You know, your team are both your internal staff and the external public. But do you have a culture that ensures that your team understands what are the bottom line, what are the vision? Do you have the kind of systems that pulls your team in to want to make a contribution to the vision? What steps are you taking to ensure that your team recognize that they are a part of that ritual and they are committed to that ritual? They are self-motivated to function in accordance with the ritual and the culture of the organization. What steps are you taking to ensure that you make these things happen? The other important issues for you to look at, you have to also recognize that you have an external theme, and that's the public. And you have to also commit to building the healthiest of relationships with the public. And the reality is that a healthy and productive relationship just doesn't manifest like that. You have to commit to nurturing that relationship. You have to invest in that relationship. And one of the best ways in which you can do this is by ensuring that you understand the people's needs and the people want and their expectations, and you ensure that you align the culture of the organization to give and deliver above and beyond the expectations of your team. Let me repeat this. Healthy relationships are only built on culture and tradition. Culture and tradition give us consistency, stability, depth, and an identity. Let's examine culture a little more. Let's examine tradition. What exactly is culture and tradition? Culture and tradition are those predictabilities and unpredictabilities of the organization. And let me give an example. You can build your organization in such a way that the culture reflects a standard way of doing things, predictabilities. But you cannot allow your predictability to only be you start work at 8 and you finish work at 4 or 5. You cannot allow your predictability to only be you work for X amount of hours and these are your takeaway. You should never allow your predictabilities to begin and end with those simple principles. What is your corporate culture? To nurture the high performance workforce. What are your corporate culture? that helps the individual to connect to their deeper sense of self? What is your culture that helps the individual to become the best brand of themselves and function in your organization? What are your culture? What are your tradition? All of these things are a critical part of your culture. So in designing your organization, you need to design your organization with these critical information in mind. I know a lot of these things might be new to you, but I'm here to give you all the support that you need to move to the next stage of development in your organization. The reality is that people function better in every area of their lives when they understand their purpose, their passion, and their gifts. And just imagine that you have a team of people within the organization who are highly driven and highly motivated, largely because they are connected with their purpose. They're connected with their passion, and they're leveraging their passion to become their gifts, and they're using their gifts to influence positive change and development in your organization. Just think about the kind of organization that you will have. But you can only develop this kind of trendsetter, game changer, and dream maker organization when the organization makes that commitment to move to that next stage of development. And that next stage of development is based on fostering the healthiest of relationships with your team. And that is what culture is. Those are some of the predictabilities of the culture. Well, what are also some of the unpredictability of the organization culture? When last have you said, okay, call all your staff for the weekend and say, we're going to have a trip, we're going to have a barbecue, we're going to do an all-inclusive family tour? Those can be some unpredictabilities that can truly inspire and motivate your team to want to commit to your vision. You got it. What is consistency in that relationship? You know, because of having a culture, you can easily nurture consistency. And consistency reflects a standard way of doing things. Consistency is something that encourages performance based on a system that truly enables people to want to comply. And there are many things that you can do to nurture consistency. You can look at incentive programs. And incentives don't only have to be financial incentives. You see, let me say this. When you understand people's needs, wants, and expectations, when you understand people at the level of their DSS, their purpose, their passion, their gifts, you can go one step forward, and that is the design incentive program that truly complements who the individuals are. And when you design programs that can truly touch and motivate and inspire your team to function within your organization, largely based on the fact that you have structured the organization to not only reach your bottom line, but you have structured your organization to connect with your team and to support the vision of your team. Just think about the level of motivation you're going to have within that organization. Just think about the level of transition that you're going to have within that organization. Just think about the leaps and bounds that you will be able to grow, largely because you have a highly motivated workforce. This is not just a highly motivated workforce based on internalization of information. You have a sustained, highly motivated workforce, largely based on the fact that every team member understand who they are. They understand how to fit into your organization. They understand how to fit into that vision. That is called nurturing an environment for consistent performance. What is stability? Every organization needs a stability. Your team needs to know that their commitment to help you to come to the next stage of development is not going to be short-lived. They need to know that in the absence of you, the leader, they have the human capital who can continue the process of development. Many of you start an organization and you only think about me, myself, and I. I keep saying this to most people, that in developing an organization, you have to help your team member to recognize that they are a critical part of the team. It's not necessarily about me, myself, and I. It's not necessarily about you, yourself, and I. It's about the team effort. And this is why many organizations in the developed world, they have developed systems that we call profit sharing. They have developed systems that we call share ownership. Every employees own 0.1% of the organization, so they're no longer working for you, they're working for the team. And there is where you get high performance. That's one of the factors that we look at in nurturing a high performance workforce, a sustained high performance workforce. Stability. It's about a human capital, it's about a financial capital, it's about a technical capital. I know that this may be a lot of new information, but I want to encourage you guys to contact me, get a copy of my book, Self-Application Best Practices, Transforming the Mind and Cracking Billionaire Codes. I mean, the information documented in that book is designed to truly take you to the next stage and next level of development in your business. And we're here fully committed to take you to that next step. Don't even think about the money. We just want to work with you. We just want to commit to your transition and your development in your business. We have the tools, we have the techniques, and we want to really help you to come to that next stage of development. I want to now talk about depths. You see, relationship nurture all of these things. It nurture culture, it nurture consistency, it nurture stability, it nurture depths. What is depths? You know, when you're in an organization long enough, you're working with a team long enough, you're investing in your team long enough, you start to develop what we call a depth of understanding. And that depth of understanding is something that truly helps you to have a better appreciation of things around you, have a better appreciation of people in your lives, and it truly helps you to make that commitment to grow and to develop different perspective of doing things. And by developing a different perspective on things, an advanced perspective on things, a deeper understanding of things, it gives you that tools to become an innovator. It gives you that support system to become that trendsetter. It empowers you to become the game changer because of your depths of understanding of what you're dealing with. And can you understand this? Can you relate to this, that each and every one of your team members, they are functioning in your organization because the fact that they are deeply rooted in your culture. They are deeply rooted in your rituals. They are deeply rooted in your tradition. This is the type of corporate leadership that we need to grow businesses that can connect with the region, that can connect with the world, that have that global relevance. It's not only about the great idea, because great ideas can only reach its full potential by a great team, a team that truly understands itself, a team that is functioning at its deeper sense of self. That's called depths. This is called culture. What steps are you taking to nurture that kind of culture that will transition your organization to that next stage of development? I want to say this, I'm not saying this because I want to attack systems. Traditional system just doesn't give you the tools to reach to that next stage of development, particularly in the developing economy. Traditional system does not just work in the way it's supposed to work for you. Today in the Caribbean region, we want to see businesses that are growing with relevance to international trade. Today we want to see businesses that are competing in the global world of commerce and trade, and they are leaders in new products and service innovation. Traditional system is not just getting you there. My tools and my techniques will get you to that next stage of development in your life, because first of all, we want to help you to understand something. We want to help you to understand how to leverage your ability to think. The art is not to think by eyesight. You don't want to do what the next person is doing. You don't want to be called a copycat. You want to be able to use your mindset, not eyesight. You want to be able to leverage your creative thinking and your creative ability to innovate new products, to innovate new services with relevance to human needs across the world. And that can only happen when you have a team of people that truly understand who they are. They understand that they have a deeper sense of self. And when you tear away at that deeper sense of self, you recognize that you have purpose, you have passion, and you have gifts. And what we will do, we will give you the tools to unlock the potential of your team that will enable them to become the best brand of themselves, who are functioning in your organization, to take your organization to a level of development that you can never or has never imagined. We will give you that tool. Identity. What steps are you taking to give your team an original identity? Culture, tradition helps you to shape and give yourself, your team, an identity. What is your identity? What is the team identity? Are you a copycat? Or your identity is one who we can safely say you're a trendsetter, you're a game changer, you're a dream maker? What is your identity? What systems are you creating to ensure that your team are the original brand of themselves? So as they get into your organization, to function in your organization, you have a team of highly motivated people who are original thinkers, who have the ability to use their creative mind to make the greatest shift in your organization. What is your identity? We're talking culture. We're talking tradition. And what we're saying is that culture and tradition gives you consistency, stability, depth, and an identity. What steps are you taking to ensure that your identity is what it ought to be? Having an identity is healthy. Having an identity is healthy because it gives you a sense of self. It gives you a sense of belonging. It gives you a sense of direction that influences and advances future process of development. My friends, at the beginning of this program I said that relationships is the mother of all social systems. And if it is that you're aiming after success, you have to become a master of nurturing the healthiness of relationships. Building relationship is not about self-interest. Building healthy, productive relationship must be about fostering collective interest. If you want your organization to move to the next stage of development, you have to start thinking, how can I align my organization to deliver above the expectations of my team, my internal team and my external team? What culture am I creating as a manager, as a business owner, as a leader, to ensure that my focus is not just about the monies, but I truly care for my team? And I don't only care about how my team function in the organization, I truly care about how my team function in every area of their lives. And I'm providing the tools, I'm providing the systems, I'm providing the incentives for them to truly embrace the best quality of life. I will stop here for today because I want you to really think about this. I really want you to think about this, and I really want you to internalize this information. I want to say again that healthy, productive relationship can only be built on culture and tradition. Why? Because culture and tradition gives us a consistency, stability, depth, and an identity. My name is Gary Thompson. I'm a business development consultant by profession. I'm a humanitarian by nature, and I'm the author of the book Self-Application Best Practices, Cracking Billionaire Codes. I trust you would have enjoyed this program, and I can't wait to get the next podcast to you. Don't only listen. Remember, to affect change in your life, it's about having a desire, and it's about taking action. But if you can recall my earlier podcast, I said it's not only about having a desire. Your desire must be aligned to who you are, and your actions must be informed. You just don't want to be taking action in your life to give you any results. You need to know that the action that you're taking to affect change in your life, and if the change is to attain a quality, healthy, productive relationship that represents the collective interest, you must know that your action will lead you to this particular point, will give you this particular results. Remember, feel free to make contact with us, and we'll be willing to give you that information. Love you guys. Peace out.